Hello everybody, Chris Campbell here in the clock shop this Friday evening. So we have an interesting project that's on the workbench. So we had a customer who had a Slave grandfather clock that they had purchased back in 2000. They paid $5,800 for it, and it's been working ever since until back in December of 2023 when their grandkids came and yanked on the chain to the weight, and the weight chain came loose and went through the bottom of the grandfather clock, and then they said other pieces started falling out of the clock itself. So I was called to do a house call, and luckily the homeowner had already taken the movement completely out of the case of the grandfather clock and gave me a whole box, which we have right over there. So, upon further inspection, the main center arbor and the great wheel was completely stripped. There were about 20 teeth broke completely off. The ratchet wheel of the main weight that pulls was also stripped and broke. But what was so surprising is the arbor of the original one was completely bent and almost broke half in two. So what we have had to do is to manufacture a complete new arbor and a new center wheel. Now this is the new wheel that we have completely fabricated on our lathe and milling machine. Everything is now has been assembled, so we have all of the teeth that have now been cut. We've also cut out the recess to reduce the weight and the material of the gear. We've also put the countersink pin in place and put the center pin in place and bent it like it should be. We've also cut the pivot, and we've also polished it on both sides. Now this side is a little tricky, because not only is this a pivot part, but it's also the threaded part for the nut that will go on for the hour hands. So the cannon pinion will fit over this arbor, and the hour hand will fit onto the cannon pinion. Now the minute hand will fit right here and lock into this little square cutout notch here. And then we have a nut that will screw onto this threaded post. So we've had to put these two pieces and this piece onto the new arbor that we've cut on the lathe. We've cut and manufactured a new gear. And to show you what I'm talking about, we'll get the nut out. Let's see. Yes. So once the hand is on place, this nut will screw into that to hold the minute hand in place. Now we have two different style nuts that we can use. We have this one, and let's see, we also have another one which is a capped nut. Let's see, this one here. Now this one is a little bit different because it's a cap nut, so he does not want this particular one, so we're going to take that off and use the traditional threaded nut. Okay, so that's what will hold the minute hand in place onto the movement. So we have made the gear, made the arbor, and we have installed the ratchet, or this gear, and the count gear for this side, as well as this gear onto the arbor. This part was the hardest part because we had to use our milling machine to cut the square post for the minute hand, and then use a tap in our tailstock to thread this tiny thread of the post. And it's a very tiny thread. So you're looking at the post diameter of only 1.8 millimeters, where the rest of the arbor is right at 3.8 millimeters. So this is just to show you what we can do for mechanical clocks If you have a stripped or broke gear, we can manufacture the gears and the arbors and get it back for the customer. Have a wonderful evening.